join the revolution starting inside. An instrumental part of Agora worldwide. Agora worldwide, Agora worldwide. Counter economics, Agorist strip. Black market click, move a quick flip. Can't regulate this, Agorist strip. Black market click, move a quick flip. Can't regulate this, Agorist.
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 Nexus, Agorist.
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 It's Brandon with the Agorist Acres podcast. I've got my great co-host Dag. How you doing, Dag?
I'm doing all right, buddy. I had a little bit of a late night at the Tom Woods event last night, but I'm here, man. We're getting it together. How you doing?
Pretty good. Yeah, I wasn't there, but yeah, I heard people had a really fun time. So
Yeah, it was definitely something. You know, I'm just fortunate enough to be close enough. I mean, some people travel like across the country for it, which is, I mean, God bless them. Like that's crazy, you know. but yeah, it was definitely fun. So, and then rolling off, I definitely do want to mention here before we get started too. Got some bad news. Last weekend we heard Jay Stark passed, the guy or one of the main contributors to building the FGC9. So that was definitely sad. I'm looking forward to getting a little bit more like the scoop about what actually happened. So it's still some people are still working on getting it exactly figured out. So, you know, once we do, we'll do a show about it or something.
yeah, Jay Stark. You know, I know everyone's been saying like rest in peace and stuff, but yeah, just huge loss to the community. I mean, he you know, he always wanted it set up like as a hydra. So like if one head, you know, and this is what he said himself, one head went missing, that another one pop in its place. And I think
the illusions.
yeah. I think the community, is really set up that way. But yeah, what a fine human being he was. And yeah, all the work he's done with the FGC9 has just been amazing. So, but yeah, shout out to our sponsors, Presearch, Decentralized Crypto Search Engine. Yeah.
No spying, no censorship. They work good. Just all around cool search engine. So of course, if you guys haven't already, be sure to check it out. Hit up our link. What is it? agoristacres.com/search, if I'm not mistaken. And you know, let them know where we're sponsoring.
For sure. We've got a great guest on today, Snider with Lethean. Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, that's right, Lethean.
Yeah, super excited about the project. I think one thing that we're all lacking is trustworthy VPN, and to make it decentralized and to run off of a privacy coin so that your transactions can't be tracked. Because even if they can't track your IP address, you know, all they have to do is try to, you know, see where the money goes. So yeah, having it run off of a privacy coin too really intrigued me about the project. I think it's crucial for internet privacy and security, and yeah, wanted to have you on.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for coming on. Tell us, if you could, how you got involved with the project.
Yeah, I mean, for the longest period, I was just an observer, really. It was one of those projects that when I first found out about it, I don't know, it had a purpose that was kind of outside of moving numbers around between people in fancy ways. And it just really intrigued me. And I just, that was in 2018. And the old developers left the project in 2019. And the community kind of kept the network up. There was no development team, and the VPN still worked. And they kept it going, having meetings until I turned up to see if hash fault mining pools should close our mining pool or not. And long story short, I ended up on the team. And yeah, I don't know. It was a project that was on the brink of stopping, and it's one of those projects that I don't know. It's got a good social value, I think. You know, the things you can do are really privacy focused, decentralized VPN. So just to help people keep people safe. You know, it's lots of possibilities. So that's why I sort of took it on anyway.
Yeah, that's great. And yeah, you're like super active. I see you in you know, Keybase, asking for testers and doing all this stuff. And that's another thing that keeps me really excited about the project is your involvement, and then the other guy too, I think Dabs. But yeah, I don't think people. I think nowadays, like we really need this. Like we really need a project like this, and even if it's like not for government, it's like, you know, we've got hackers and we've got
commercial interests as well. There's a whole load of nuanced issues online that people just are not aware of. You know, there's that saying, you know, if you're not the product, if you don't pay for the product, you are the product. And you know, if you're using Gmail, you know, all your emails are being, you know, categorized, and it affects the YouTube videos you see. It affects the search engine results you start getting. You know, and then that has a kind of a knock-on effect as you go to a website because of this categorization AI. Then you'll hit the Facebook targeting pixel, and then suddenly you've got all these companies bidding for people looking for that particular thing, and you get this ripple effect through internet systems that expose what you're doing subtly. So then all your friends start getting recommended things that you're interested in if it's, I don't know, close to your birthday. And there's lots of subtle social issues from people who don't really understand how the internet works, taking too much meaning from, you know, very thoughtful gifts, or, you know, someone's recommended friends list. You know, maybe a new mail pops up, and, you know, stereotype, you know, they get beaten for it. You know, there's a lot of issues that people just don't clock with, you know, these content APIs, and we need a sort of a flat out privacy shield to sort of hide, so you can just use the internet just for information's sake without it affecting your life. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, how creepy is it going to get? You know, is it going to get to the point where they subtly program you with what they feed you in algorithms? I think maybe we're already there. So, can you tell us a little bit about how the project works? I mean, in terms of like the wallet and, you know, how the VPN works. And I had an issue trying to get it on Windows, but I think you guys might be working on that too.
Yeah, one of the problems with Lethean is, I mean, it's an old project. The first commits were sort of 2017, and the code base is of age, so it's made a bit difficult. Everything works, all the Docker images work a little bit better. But I'm sort of remodernizing the system a little bit, but the concepts will stay the same. So you deploy a exit node in the cloud, and you can register that. Currently, that's in a centralized system. So you register your exit node, and then you've just got a wallet that someone sends some Lethean to, and then once that handshake's complete, then from then on you can that person's able to connect to the open VPN server, because there's a dispatcher system that checks to see if, you know, the person trying to connect is known to the wallet. So you don't know who it is that's trying to use your service, just that they've paid and that's it. Yeah. But the problem with that is it's quite a slow process because it's an encrypted chain. You can't do things like look at the mempool for information to then initiate, access to an exit node. So something I'm adding at the moment is a sort of a lightning network, I guess, a side chain to facilitate, because with CryptoNote, with every transaction, there's a view key generated. And if you share that view key with the other person, they can decrypt that transaction and see how much it's for. So I'm working out a way to be able to get that view key to the exit node encrypted and anonymously. So then they can verify that the actual payment is coming and then give access quickly. So how it's going to work in like a month or two is completely different. You'll be very much like a NordVPN experience where you get a map and you just pick which area you would like to, to use.
Yeah, that sounds great. And then it runs off of a cryptocurrency that uses ring signatures. Is that correct?
Yep, it uses ring signatures and self addresses. So there's no sort of chain analytics that can happen. The project forked from CryptoNote, which is the same project that Monero did, around the same time. But these guys worked on, the VPN side of things. So one of the side projects is we are rebasing our code over to Monero and sort of updating. So on a blockchain front, we're going to stick with Monero, progression, and focus on the VPN side, which is what interests us most.
Hey guys, quick pause here to tell you about our sponsor, Devault Cryptocurrency. Ticker symbol DVT is a low cap coin with a market cap around 900,000. So there could be room for opportunity here. Not financial advice, but we really like this project.
Yeah, the Devault core wallet is one of the best I've ever seen. Very user friendly, super easy to use with cold staking rewards. So it's like getting interest. They're working on privacy with Terraform, also DeFi to decentralize and replace financial institutions.
So go ahead and check them out over at devault.cc and get you a Devault core wallet today. Also, be sure to check out the show notes to find exchanges that they are traded on. With that said, let's get back to the show.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if the coin side is already got developers on a different chain, you can just kind of follow them and then focus on your VPN, which I mean, I don't really. I know that Lethean was the first one, but I don't think that there's too many projects like this out there. Can you tell me about this Matrix 8 solution?
Yeah, Matrix 8 is it's an anonymous governance system where you essentially work in groups of 8 people to come to a consensus on a problem, and over a large amount of groups of 8, you can come to a sort of a combined community consensus. So I'm looking at using Matrix 8 for some sort of network decisions, so we can sort of hand off control from us to the community, like having a Lethean certificate authority, and then allowing the community to invalidate certificates. So if there's a known bad exit node, as a community, we can revoke stop the general public being able to connect easily to that node. It wouldn't sort of stop it being operational, but it would keep people safe. If it's an exit node that's being run by, I know, someone that's scanning all the information for stuff that they can use. For instance, you know, there's got to be some control mechanisms in the network, because otherwise it becomes like a wild west. But the problem with that is it's creating, you know, a single. I'm not a fan of single point of controls. So with Matrix 8, it allows us to devolve that power to, you know, a community of known Lethean participants. And the hope is that community governance will keep everyone safe. You know, if everyone that's participating heavily in the Lethean network, you know, we would hope that everyone's on the same sort of page.
Now, is there going to be a way to have like certain members who have been around longer to be able to be like have more trusted status, or like how to like are you guys going to come up with anything like that, or is it just kind of like, well, I don't know, but
currently at the moment the sort of, because it was a single ownership project, and then it went out to the community, and what we're trying to do is map that sort of community ownership still. So there's a 3-person custodian trust, and I'm one of them, and the other 2 people, we have, you know, access to all the private keys and root passwords and stuff. So that kind of, we're trying to expand that down. So it will be a community governance kind of thing. The ultimate aim is to not really have that much control of the network as such, and just be a participant. I'm not really a fan of like
centralized control
or inherited power, or I do believe, like, if you're good and then you start being not good, there should be a mechanism to naturally, you know, fall down, you know. And how I'm thinking of implementing this in a sort of more how people would kind of notice is when you first start using Lethean and you're selecting nodes from kind of a map interface, rather than, you know, looking at the listing and having a look at what features they have and speed. You'll get the most trusted nodes onwards as you have more time on the network, or sort of expose people to sort of nodes further down. So when people first come to Lethean, like as a VPN, they're more guaranteed to get an experience like they would with Nord or anyone else, while at the same time distributing power to the community. So we would, you know, we'll run our own node and vote the same as everyone else. And if people want to do, you know, go one way, and that's what we'll do. We'll try and stick to what the community wants.
Yeah, this project really sounds great. And I really like the direction that you want to take it in. Is there, so when you set up a wallet, you can,
when you make a wallet, it's creating a private key on the chain. You have to, at the moment, when you install the wallet GUI, you also have to install OpenVPN HA proxy locally. But then you can connect from that.
oh, okay.
But in the new version of the app, it's a lot smoother connecting. But it doesn't inherently give you VPN access or functionality. That's stuff you'd have to turn on, and it would definitely be a choice. You know, everything, you know, not by default gonna start the blockchain daemon, start sharing as, you know, the default will be remote nodes, so you don't have to, advertise yourself on the peer-to-peer network if you don't want to. We're trying to be sort of privacy conscious on every single choice, even within the software.
Yeah, that's great. What about running a node? How would you go about running a node then?
The plan is just to run a Docker image, and just a configuration file in the directory that you're running those sort of Docker compose from. And we're building some lightweight Alpine images, so it's really nice and smooth. But the next version might literally just be a single binary that you can just run on a server or on your home computer, and it'll start the Lethean exit node and give you an admin panel. Yeah, that's the kind of direction we're going to. At the moment, it's kind of you have to install it as a sort of a Debian service, and it's a bit clunky.
I have a question here if I could jump in.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to sort of clarify how this functions. I'm a little bit of a tech dummy compared to a lot of people. So basically, like with a typical VPN service, like it's like let's say Nord, for instance, they have a server somewhere and you're basically remotely using their server. So in this instance, instead of it being like like a company that has it, these are whatever people who are running a node and you're accessing like their server. Is that basically what's going on?
Yeah, it's a decentralized marketplace.
Okay. Okay, cool. So to sort of piggyback on what Brandon was asking there about running a node, is this something that like somebody with just like a PC can do, or do you need like a substantial piece of equipment, or what kind of how would give me some insight on that?
Currently, I mean, you could run it on your home PC, but you'd require some technical knowledge. By the end of the year, you'll be able to run it from home and choose different capabilities, because some people, there's an idea of just kind of a Tor kind of mesh for just getting pulling down random assets, images and JavaScript files and stuff, just to randomize where you're actually requesting that to kind of mess with the APIs, the marketing APIs a little bit. But it'll depend. But you'll be able to run it from home or to a degree. If you've got a good internet connection, then I mean, it'd be fine. Okay, so like if somebody wanted to, so somebody could like scale up even if they wanted to, then like they could have a better system and take more traffic and they're just
money or what have you.
They'll just add it as a new service to their provider profile. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And that way you can let your friends, you create a network just for yourself, just so your family can watch the content available to you in your country, just for your friends if you want to, without actually advertising it on any marketplace or anything.
Okay, so you keep it pretty private then, or what have you.
Yeah, you're not even forced to use Lethean to actually use the VPN.
Nice.
That part you get into the configuration files, but you don't have to use the STP server. You can connect via just a DNS request. Just put a text file up and a little CNAME, and you can connect, to give a URL to your family to just connect to your VPN network.
So you could essentially set up your own network and then set up your own prices as well too, right?
Yeah. And you're not really limited to, I think, just selling internet access is a bit narrow what you could do with
it,
VPN orchestration kind of system. There's lots of you know, the meaning of like connected time or amount of bandwidth used could be, you know, it doesn't have to be actual internet bandwidth. It could be represent anything, you know. Send, you know, connect to a particular endpoint on your exit nodes and sends a 1 megabyte file, and that could be a packet of peanuts from a minibar or something, you know. It doesn't have to be, you know, you take your own meaning, it doesn't have to be internet access as such.
All right, let's take a quick second to shout out Agorist Acres seeds. Agoristacres.com stocks a variety of seeds for your garden or homestead. They also have really cool packaging instead of those silly paper envelopes.
Buy seeds with crypto, support the counter economy, and become self-sustaining today. Agorist Acres offers fast shipping, so you can get started right away.
Make sure you use code Nexus10 at the checkout for 10% off of your orders. Also, they will donate a portion of the sale to Agorist Nexus, helping to bring you all the great content you expect. And all right, let's get on with it.
Yeah.
That's quite a cool possibility, because it means the system becomes a bit anonymous marketplace. So well, it's more of a confidential marketplace, because when you say anonymous, people get the, you know, the black market kind of idea, but it's confidential. So it's an encrypted ledger, but both participating parties can unencrypt that information. So if they're required by their local law enforcement via a court order to provide information, they could, you know, but it would only be after due process has happened. You know, it wouldn't be able to happen before a certain process has happened within your country. So it's, you know, it's confidential, you know, so, you know, people can conduct a legitimate business on the chain, on Monero, and on ours. Yeah, I mean, anonymous, yeah, it is anonymous, but it doesn't mean you can't run legitimate business on it, because you can comply with all your regulations.
Well, especially with like business, it's like, you know, privacy and everything. It's not just if you're not doing anything wrong, you know, everything to hide kind of thing. It's like, you know, like that's like you need privacy and confidentiality just to, you know, just to be successful. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
you don't want your
analysis.
bookkeeping to go out to everybody, for instance.
Exactly. I mean, it'd be like seeing the transaction history for all of Amazon or all of Apple's card transactions. You know, that would be kind of insane information, but that's available on, you know, Bitcoin and Ethereum when you do it using these systems. You know.
Yeah, and then there certainly might be circumstances where you don't care about that, or it not being private is important, you know, but for most things, probably most things, yeah, I'd rather be private if I could, just because, you know, why the hell not?
There's competitor advantage, you know, it'd be like advertising to competitors exactly where your business moves are. You know, there's lots of non-sketchy reasons to want to, you know, keep your information private.
So, there's like a mining and everything that goes on with this as well. How does that work?
Yeah, there's mining happening on the privacy chain, you know, to process the transactions the same as Monero. But the average block time is 120 seconds, so it's quick, but not quick enough to facilitate kind of instant transactions. So that's something I'm working on at the moment. Yeah. But there wouldn't be any mining for that. But yeah, to generate the Lethean tokens, if you want to do that, you could mine it or buy it currently.
Okay, excellent. So one of the do you know if it's one of the ones you need like a big so I'm still learning about the mining and everything, but there's like the big one, like the ACIS, you know, for like Bitcoin and everything, where the real serious ones. And I think there's some you can even do from like an old smartphone. Do you know if it's like a real like intensive process or anything like that?
We're upgrading the algorithm, so it'll be it's CPU focused. So
okay, right on.
when you use graphics cards or ASIC miners, it just doesn't work very well. So that's in the hope that people will be able to get some coin. But the thing with Lethean is it's been around for quite some time. So 80% of the coin has actually been created already, which is really good because being a VPN, it's more of service orientated. And because most of the coin has been generated now, there's not really many sort of price, future price movements, which is kind of cool. But we're gonna try and move towards kind of a proof of capacity, proof of like network, something. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, mining's not going to be the be all and end all soon.
Is this service going to be available on like a mobile, like on like a cell phone, as well as like a laptop? Like, will we be able to use a VPN through a cell phone or anything with this?
Yeah, when the new app is released, yeah, that works on iOS and Android.
Okay, cool.
And it can be the full. You can run the full app or just have it as kind of a tray kind of thing. Run it in the Windows tray.
What like personally inspired you like to work on a project like this? I mean, you obviously take it very seriously, so do you have anything underlying like
Yeah, I mean, I've been around the internet for so long, and I've worked for random companies making them stupid money, replicating really crappy systems. And recently I had an incident where, because of these content algorithms, it really affected me in life, and it opened my eyes to just a lot of issues people are facing, non-technical people are facing, that they don't even know that they're having, and I don't know, it just bugs me. So the direction I'm taking Lethean in is to try and look after people, really. I mean, there's no one really looking after the people's interests. I looked at the UK professional bodies in the security sector, and they're all for professional people, or for industry, or for government, or for industry and government, or for kind of civil rights, but not really. There's no one just looking at technology use for people and how little changes could make a big difference. I think it's probably about time to start reining in the internet a little bit with in regards to sort of the big companies.
Yeah, I think and I'm not saying that you like 100% agree with this or not, but yeah, it's really sketchy how a lot of these corporations have really melded with government, and so yeah, we just really need a project like this. So was there anything you wanted to make sure that you said before we finish up? I know that you're a busy guy and you've been busy with the project, but
well, it's just it. I'm just trying not to say stuff. Actually, I got quite a lot of ideas, and they're quite far out. I guess I don't know, but I could talk for ages. So yeah.
I have two questions actually. Before we go, if we can. One, let's say like a VPN, let's say versus like like what kind of like level of protection does that get you versus like, let's say like Tor? And again, I'm a little bit of a tech dummy, so so bear with me. But like what do you know, like, is there like a thing where it's like, okay, like VPN's good for some stuff, maybe Tor is a little bit better, or are they two completely different things? And I'm not even asking the right question.
Well, that's the interesting thing. It's a common misconception about privacy and confidentiality. People assume that they're one and the same thing, but they're not. With Tor, you're getting privacy because it's, you know, messing up your communications, and with a VPN, you're getting confidentiality. But if you use Tor and a VPN in conjunction, that would be the ultimate, and then you'd be getting privacy and confidentiality. It's a convoluted setup.
So would it be like, so you say like, okay, so like privacy, like people couldn't, you know, like it's encrypted, somebody couldn't see what we're saying, but with like confidentiality, it's like as long as, I don't know. I don't know. I just know
like, at doctor's office. So all the information that they have is confidential, right? So they don't talk about it outside. But within the staff, to respect privacy, you wouldn't talk about particular patients unless, you know, you had the contacts to, and that's privacy in action, not confidentiality.
Okay.
But, you know, and the same applies to VPNs and Tor.
Okay. And then my final question. Thank you. That clears things up a little bit. Ultimately, I should just be using both VPN and Tor.
Something I did both. Yeah.
Lethean. What does that mean? Like I was actually like looking up the word, and they were saying like Greek for like forgotten or something. Does that have something to do with privacy?
It's named after a river in the Greek underworld. In Hades, in the Greek underworld, the river Lethe, which is the river that souls drink from to forget their previous life. So it's the forgetful river, basically.
Oh, that's cool. That's deep.
Yeah, it's a pretty good name.
Yeah, I like it. So cool. Well, that's my list. That's what I got. Was there anything else, Brandon?
No, I think we're good. I got a good privacy quote here.
You got one?
Yeah.
All right.
Arguing that you don't care about privacy because you have nothing to hide is no different than saying you don't care about free speech because you have nothing to say. Edward Snowden, Agorist Nexus out.
Peace.